Time for an update. Just so you guys don't think I've been sitting back and not doing anything, I have been sanding my brains out. This car, I mean, we're over 50 years old with this car. So to get it ready for paint requires a little bit more body work than if it was just a more modern car. You know, this car, over 50 years, you're dealing with rust, you're dealing with potentially body work done from other people, and body panels that may not have been from this car originally, and reproduction panels that don't fit quite right. So even though I'm painting this car myself, and people like to see a quick series, this car unfortunately does take a little bit more time because it is an older car. And I just want to try and kind of show you what I've run into so far and how I'm making out. Just a bit of a progress report. Now, this car came in yellow primer when I got it, and I have sprayed 2 coats of epoxy primer, black epoxy primer, in the 10 years that I've owned it. Now the primer, I mean, it looked good, like epoxy primer, it does hold up to weather better. It doesn't absorb moisture like normal primer does. And I'm past that now. So I'm trying to sand that down, and the nice thing about it is it's showing me my high spots and low spots and stuff like that. You're gonna wanna get yourself some good sanding blocks if you find out that you do have to do body work to your car. I've been block sanding for weeks now, trying to get everything straight and flat and true. Dura-block makes a fantastic product. These things, I've had other blocks in the past. Not quite sure. Oh, this little guy I used for years, but given its size, it's hard to make things nice and flat. You want a wider or longer block. And this has just a little bit of flex because it's a hard, stiff foam. And I bought the whole Dura-block kit, right? It's got a whole bunch of different size blocks in it. But these are the 2 I've been using the most. This big guy and then this round one for doing contours, right? Because that's not a flat surface. But I've been sanding. This is where I had shaved the door handle, and after sanding it down, I noticed that it wasn't perfectly flat. So a couple coats of high build primer, I've been sanding it, and it's almost perfect. Same thing with this door. This is where I shaved the mirror off, door handle. And I mean, when it's flat black hides a lot, so you don't see the high and low spots. So when I start sanding it with the blocks, like when I start block sanding it, I start seeing the low spots. So that took a little bit of, I had to put a little bit of filler in it, just a skim coat, sand that down, a couple coats of primer, and that's pretty much good. Getting my gap and my seam nice. It took me a while to get it nice, but it's almost perfect. This gap's a lot nicer. I'm just trying to get everything straight. The roof, if you remember from previous videos, I had to have a guy fix this roof because this roof was like one big dent. Somebody put something heavy on it years ago. I had him come and fix it, and after sanding off the primer, you could see the couple different layers of primer that I had on here, and I don't even think I got to put any filler at all. Maybe just another coat of high build primer, sand that down. But when I rub my hand, like, I don't feel, like, it feels almost perfect. Back here, you can see all the layers of primer I put in. There's the yellow primer when I first got it. And that's actually the bare steel right there. And at one point there was a little bit of filler in this roof, but not much because I just hit the steel there. I just started touching steel there, and there's a little bit of filler. But when I rub my hand, that's almost perfectly smooth. Even back here, where there was another, where he took out more than the guy was hammering. That's like, it's so smooth now. I noticed a crack here, and when I started digging, this was all fiberglass. This quarter had been replaced at one point, and somebody just didn't quite finish the metal work up here, and they just put a bunch of fiberglass, and it cracked. So I ended up digging out all that fiberglass, put welded a piece of steel in, and refinish that. But this side's almost done. I've almost got this half of the car complete. I've been waiting for body panels to come in. Body panels such as this. I bought 2 inner wheel fenders. This side I've already got fit in because I need to know how much I got to trim out. Because of the turbo kit, I did have to make a relief hole here for the turbo drain. I did have to trim a little bit back here because I don't know if it's just these reproduction fenders or if it's because of my aftermarket A-arms, but I was rubbing on the A-arm, so I had to trim a little bit off the backside. But I'm just trying to get everything fit in place. So I got 2 inner fenders that are new, hood's new, and I'm waiting right now for my lower valance because my other lower valance is killed. So that's just a quick update as to how I'm making out. I want to try and make this thing as perfect as possible. I will video when it comes, I'll video the whole process when I'm going to spray the whole car in primer. But all this tedious sanding and lining up my gaps, not everybody needs to experience this because you guys might all have nicer cars than what I've got. So I need to get this to a workable state first, and then I can show the whole process that I'm going to go through when it comes time to painting it. But just wanted to give you an update, showing you that I'm not just sitting back hiding from the cold. I'm out here working. But parts coming in because of COVID has slowed me down quite a bit. But I'm still pushing forward, and hopefully we can get this thing done this spring, like by the time spring hits, because I hate sitting back when the weather's nice and not being able to enjoy what I built. So stay posted. We'll keep working on this.